Welcome back, traders and investors. Second portion of our show, Market Movers, and we'll talk about a stock that doesn't move very much. It's slow good. Heinz.
HNZ, yeah. Heinz here, trading down 52.09 after closing at 52.82. So it's getting a pretty good move. This is a low beta stock, so a 70-80 cent move is usually a pretty big move for a stock like Heinz. Obviously some of your other food stocks could have sympathetic moves. It's funny, these options expirations, some funny stuff happens. But keep in mind, like stock like Campbell's, CPB, even some of your other food stocks like Conagra Foods sometimes can move. With a stock like Heinz, sometimes your grocery stores, KR, stuff like that, may have a small sympathetic move. But on an options expiration, so much funny stuff happens, I don't know how much weight that has. But what do you think about Heinz, though, Joel?
Heinz, it did hit 52.09 in the pre-market. I see a nice low here at $52. So got to call that excellent support in this stock. Actually, 52.14 was a low back on November 4th. If, in fact, we do break below this 52 level, I think the stock's in trouble. Could easily see it trade down to the 51.5 level. Coming back on the upside, I expect you to find any kind of resistance at yesterday's low at 52.42.
Yeah, and $53 too if it really went into rally mode. Anywhere from settlement to 53, so call all that resistance now.
I think the open's going to be really key in this stock. They're either going to open it and pop it up off that support, or they're going to open it and floss it.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think so too, Joe. I would agree with that. Well, we might as well stick with the food stock. Dr. Pepper, kind of a food stock. DPS announced a stock buyback. Stock was trading up after hours after that announcement. This chart, though, I was looking at this chart, it's kind of ugly because yesterday it started breaking down through that support, which was around 36.10, 36.20. You wonder if we're going to get some sellers in that area if the stock does, in fact, open up that 40 cents. But yeah, the stock did look like it was going to breakdown mode, so kind of scary from a long perspective. What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, that stock seemed to have lost its fizz after trading over $40 back in October. Breaking, actually coming down and taking out, some of the recent lows here, actually taking out, flirting with the October lows here. So let's call this $36 to be minor support. That was a low 2 days ago. Below that, look for the low at $35.55. Coming back on the upside, yesterday's high was $36.48, followed by a couple highs, just 20-30 cents up here. So, not a lot of volume associated with this trade. I don't think that stock buyback is going to have that much of an impact.
Salesforce.com, which is symbol CRM, not having a good morning, was having a really bad night, actually trading into the low. I don't know if it traded all the way down to that 110 support area, but traded down quite a bit there last night before bouncing. We're trading at 119.60 now after closing at 126.09. So it's still down $6.50 here, Joel. 120, we bottomed out there last month. That might be a decent swing number. I really like the stock at 110. If it could get down there, I think you'd find some great support because we had a couple of bottoms back in August. We bottomed out in that area, and in early October we bottomed out at that 110 area. So if the stock really went into sell-off mode, I think you find some great support down there. What do you think about CRM, Joel?
Wow. What a mover, huh? It did trade down to 110.81 here after the close, after the announcement of those earnings. So we are, $10 off that low. Looking at the chart here, you did have that low at 120.24. So I'll use that as resistance now. You get a pop of that, above that, and you have yesterday's low at 124.27. But really, I think this 120.24 is going to be good resistance for this stock. See if we can come back and trade in the teens here. Don't think we're going to see that 110.81 today, though.
Gap GPS is trading flat right now, 19.25 after reporting earnings there last night. It's been drifting up and trading. It traded as high as 19.50 this morning, so 19.25 is on the lower end. So they seem to somewhat like the numbers. $19 looks pretty big to me. We bottomed out there yesterday on this number, 19 as well. So I think you find some support there. But sometimes these, these apparel retailers, like we've been saying, they've been killing these stocks on the earnings. So actually probably just nice that to see one not getting killed on their earnings report. But just keep that in mind that they can become vicious on these stocks in a hurry. So if it started to break down through that 19 area, I'd probably want to not hold the stock long.
No, this stock has rallied from under $16 back in early October, got over 20, topping out, triple top there at 2026 to 2041. So I'm sure the resistance will be coming down in that stock. I have to agree with you, Dennis. That 19 level is held up here for a couple weeks. Below that, I do see some minor support coming in at 1865, but if they change the momentum on this stock, could trade $18 in a hurry. Coming back on the upside, yesterday's high at 1969 should be good resistance.
Foot Locker, which is symbol FL, reported last night as well. Beautiful uptrend. If you look at the last 3 months, we got a nice uptrend. I know we cut through it in early October, but if you ignore that, there's a lot of, a nice uptrend going with higher highs and higher lows over the last 3 months here. We're at near the bottom of that trend, so obviously getting a pop here this morning. It looks like the trend's going to temporarily hold. The bottom of that trend would probably be in the low 21s.
Yep.
If it goes to the upper end of that trend, I would say that's up, the 23.5 area. What do you think on Foot Locker, Joel? You see that trend I'm talking about?
Yeah, we did have one lower low in there, but, for the most part, what you're saying is correct. Interestingly, we're trading just a dime above yesterday's high here at 22.20. So if we can't hold this 22.10 level, I don't know if I'd be holding on to this stock too much. Perhaps I'm looking at to trade in the 21.50 to 21.80 area. Coming back off those that double top there at 23.46 to 50, we've had a series since it hit that 23.50. We've had a series of lower lows, so it looks like you got some profit takers in that stock. If we do get a continuing pop, I expect real good resistance to this 22.64 level.
BCSI, which is Blue Coat Systems Incorporated. Stock is getting a great lift here, up $3.34 right now. After closing at $16.91, it's trading 20 1/4. I'm looking at the chart. There ain't a heck of a lot in there, Joel. I was trying to on the site there. I was saying, well, maybe 20 is a psychological number because I don't see really anything there from a technical charting perspective. You start getting into the 22s. That's where we were bottoming out back there in June and July. So maybe that can be some resistance. But man, this is a tough one to trade. It's kind of wide open.
What do they do? Make blue coats?
Blue Coats. I think it's a telecommunications company. I don't know anything more than that, though, Joel.
Well,
I'm a technical trader.
If it was Maze and Blue Coat Systems, I'd be a little bit more excited about it. But 334 must be some pretty good news to get that stock popping up. Have to go to the monthlies on this one. I see a high here at 2012. I'd use that as my swing number. If it doesn't hold this 2012, look out below. Coming back on the upside, I do see some resistance in the $23 area, but I don't think they'll be coming into play today.
Yeah, stock's just too wide open for me to trade. Marvel, MRVL, getting a good lift here this morning as well. 14.51 after closing at 13.76. Going out to the chart here as I bring it up. Obviously we had the breakdown day there yesterday with the stock, and it's going to fill that, and there is a gap there to look at too. So what do you think about there on Marvel, Joel?
Yeah, I think you're going to run into a lot of problems, just about 10 or 15 cents from this area. You had, you actually had 4 lows in that area from 14.50 to 14.66. So I think you might see some people trying to wiggle out in that gap area. Above that, you'll even run into more problems at the $15 level. Coming back on the downside, if we can't hold, this area that we're trading at now, 14.50, I expect it to come down to 14 and perhaps as low as test yesterday's low at 13.58.
Here's another one having a bad day. EXCO Resources, which is ticker symbol XCO. Stock is trading down right now, almost 10%, $10.52 after closing at 11.43. I think this stock earlier on was actually trading down, if I'm not mistaken, in the 9s. Maybe Joel can just verify that. This stock really broke down yesterday, broke down through that 12 support. Obviously, 11.43 to being the close. There just ain't a heck of a lot in there until you get to that 10 area. So I almost think that's where it wants to probably go. Maybe you find some support there. What do you think on XCO, Joel?
Really bottom out in the pre-market at this 980 level. $11 was holding this stock here for a couple days back in the beginning of the month. 1107, 1108. So I expect to find resistance there. Coming back on the downside. Before you get to that $10 level, I think you got a little stopping point here at 10.43, and then the $10 level.
Darden Restaurants, which is symbol DRI, getting a downgrade over at Morgan Stanley. Some of our, food stocks we were talking about. This is obviously, your Red Lobsters, Olive Garden, Shane's. It's offered at $46.40 pretty heavily in the pre-market right now, which is a pretty decent move, down 50 cents for DRI. Looking at the chart here, you could say we bottomed 46 there. We had that one bottom late last month, but I don't really see a heck of a lot there. Kind of opens up if you do get below that 46 though, so maybe use that as a first stopping point. If it gets below there, then, I don't know, Joe, what do you think?
Well, it's been holding a range of 46 to 48 for this entire month, and now it just looks like it's starting to run out of breath here, trying to hold this $46 level. Below that, you have a minor stopping point at 45.60, but I see the major support coming in at the $44.81 to $45 level.
That's all I really have for you today. Keep in mind it is option expiration, so sometimes your opens are a little bit wacky, so just be careful for you opening orders, traders, and that's all I've got. What do you want to close with there, Joel?
The SPOO's just quiet here. Holding above that minor support here at that 12.19 to 12.21 area, caught 12.20. I think if we can hold that early in the session, we should get a nice bounce to test the Globex high. For you new listeners out there, if there's stocks or ETFs that we haven't covered, you'd like to get just our technical view on things, please email us at info@premarketinfo.com. Have a good day.